This was one of those recipes where I had a very impatient audience waiting for me to finish filming. My daughter walked in while I was shooting this pot pie, took one look, and said, "Are you almost done? Because I want some." And honestly, that's a pretty good sign. She was hovering over my shoulder until I finally let her have a taste, and yes, she approved. We're going to start with the butternut squash. I actually used pre-peeled, pre-cut squash to save myself a little work, but the pieces were still too large for the pot pie, so I cut them down into smaller cubes. Toss them with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then we roast them at 425 degrees until they're tender and starting to caramelize around the edges. While the squash is roasting, we're going to work on the mushrooms. Take each mushroom and cut it in half. One half gets sliced, while the other one is going to get finely chopped. It might seem like an unnecessary extra step, but the two cuts serve completely different purposes. Start with the sliced mushrooms, cooking them until they're deeply golden brown. Then set those aside, while the remaining mushrooms get finely chopped into tiny pieces for the gravy. While the sliced mushrooms are browning, I'm just prepping the rest of my ingredients by finely dicing a shallot into tiny pieces, and then the same thing with 2 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to mince those into small pieces. We are going to add the finely chopped mushrooms to the same pan that the sliced mushrooms were in. These will cook down until they're deeply brown and concentrated, and they'll essentially melt into the gravy later. And once the mushrooms are done, we're going to add the shallot and let it soften for a couple of minutes, followed by the garlic. And now that we've got all that mushroomy goodness in the bottom of the pan, we're ready to turn it into a gravy. We're going to start by adding some vegan butter, letting that melt, then sprinkle in the flour and cook it for about a minute. Next, we'll slowly whisk in some vegetable broth, followed by some soy milk, and keep stirring until the sauce thickens enough to coat the back of the spoon. We're going to add some Dijon, some fresh thyme, sage, salt, pepper, and a little lemon juice. The little bit of acidity helps balance all those rich, savory flavors and keeps the gravy from feeling too heavy. Now we're going to add back those beautifully browned sliced mushrooms along with the roasted butternut squash and a handful of frozen peas. Give everything a good stir and taste for seasoning. At this point, you've got a seriously good mushroom gravy surrounding all those vegetables. We're going to transfer the filling to a deep dish, and then we're going to cover it with some thawed puffed pastry. Mine wasn't exactly a perfect fit, but that's the beauty of a pot pie. It's rustic, and thankfully puff pastry doesn't care about perfection. Brush the top with a little olive oil and cut a few vents in the top so the steam has somewhere to escape. Bake it until the pastry is deeply golden and puffed and the filling is bubbling around the edges. Let it rest for about 10 minutes before digging in. You really can't go wrong with a good pot pie, savory mushroom gravy, tender vegetables, and flaky puff pastry on top. It's simple, comforting, and just really good. If you enjoyed cooking with me today, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next recipe.